Hey guys, hope everyone's well out there. Here I am back at you with another video again. For anyone who might be stumbling across this who hasn't seen my other videos, please check them out. I really appreciate your views and just general support. So I thought I'd talk about, I had a few ideas in my mind, but I thought I'd talk about what I call the four. This is my idea as a person of color, POC, and an anti-imperialist. What I call the four, I mentioned in some of my previous videos, especially my last one, are indigenous people from Australasia or Oceania, whichever you prefer to call it, Africa, the Americas, and Asia. And I would love to help those countries to network together. I think they have quite a lot in common with, or a historical link with, in terms of like colonialism, like the Aborigines or the Maoris. They were nearly wiped out. Percentage-wise, I think in Australia they're only 2% of the country, Aborigines. And historically they've been oppressed, and now they're really struggling. So I'd love to help them out. And also I think as an anti-imperialist, but also as the far right, white supremacists or the far right hate people of color, I think it'd be good if people of color united together and helped and supported each other. And I'd really love people of color around the world to support these, what I call the four. And I say all the four to support each other. So like Indigenous Americans, Native Americans, whichever you prefer. Again, they went through very similar things. And I think it'd be great if they support each other politically at the UN or places like that. And like, so in Australia, they have like Aborigine centres which people can go to visit, to learn about their culture and their way of life. And I think it'd be great if like people, the Native Americans, could have something similar for America, or all of the Americas, like Argentina, Brazil, Peru, and all the other countries in the Americas. And like the network together, like whatever rights one group has, another group could also help each other to acquire the same sort of rights. And like funding that Native Americans got could also be similar funding, could be allocated to Aborigines. And I'd love to support Aborigines, Maoris, and people like that in technology. Really, I'd love to support all those four groups in the same sort of areas, like in music, art, business, enterprise, politics, and all sorts of things. Sorry, excuse me. But Africa, especially, I'd love to support more in terms of technology, and Asia probably more in other areas like maths or science or business, enterprise. So, but basically, I'd love to do the same for each of the areas. But for indigenous people of Australasia and especially Africa, I'd love to support them more in technology and get Africans to work together on projects and like rewarding countries that support Africa and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, I'd love them to just collaborate and network together. And just generally help each other out in all possible ways, like and politically support each other. But like when people want to trade with Africa, I think Africa should have like a condition where, or African countries could come together and have a condition where they say, if you want to trade with us or have access to our resources, then you have to also invest in the youth and try and help them in terms of like technology and training, development, things like that. I hope people can hear me, by the way. I think my dog's going crazy. This might be someone at the door. But yeah, so I'd love to help those groups to work together and like support each other. On that note, I'd love to like encourage them to support animal rights, welfare, support the rights of children and women, and help women in business and writing, politics as well, help them in politics and other such fields. So as I said in a few of my videos, I know some people don't like my list, but just to help me to organize my thoughts, I might make another video like this, or a few videos like this with a list of my thoughts. Perhaps I should have done the opposite order in hindsight, but that just helps me like organize my thoughts more. But yeah, especially want to help Africa in technology, and that's like a big challenge I've set myself for like in the next 5 or 10 years. I'd love Africa to become top the top continent for tech, and make it like the tech continent, and where people from Africa support each other. But I'd love to support Pan-Asianism as well, Pan-Asianism and Pan-Africanism, and Asian and African countries working together to support each other, because they have, in many ways, they have very similar histories, because, as I say, they were colonized. India, China, and the rest of Asia were colonized, just like Africa was colonized. So they have something in common, which I think they should which should make them work together to support each other and help each other to reach their goals. And like the more they support each other, maybe the more companies, such as Microsoft or the big tech companies or any other company really, would want to go and invest in those countries and empower the youth, which will create more jobs as well. Like peace and stability can create more. The market will prefer that, and also it will create more opportunities and jobs, and just they can help each other to build things rather than destroy each other's. Rather than destroy each other, help each other to build each other up and things like that. So I think, I think that would be, sorry if there's not much drama in my voice, but yeah, I think that would be really great if they could help each other. And if like somehow Asia, as I say, people in Asia, across Asia, could support Pan-Asianism and then stop fighting each other, like countries like China and India could work together more as well. And I don't know how India and Pakistan could stop fighting each other, but if there's some way, or people within India and Pakistan who want to see more peace, and they can work together to tackle terrorism and work on information and just tackling terrorism or what do you call it, radicalization, that's what I'm looking for. So they can support each other's education, things like that, and support each other's economies, and more jobs could mean that there'd be less problems and less hostility. But they could work together against extremism and to help each other's economies as they went through imperialism together. So I think that would be a great way for them to help each other in the future to go forward, and as I say, to improve each other's economies, improve each other's jobs, and that kind of thing. But maybe a lot of African countries could also learn from Asian countries like India and China about how they grew their economies and things like that. So they could learn a lot from each other. And as I've said before, although I'd love to support Africa also in maths, science, and other areas, and fund entrepreneurship and politics, and support them politically and other things, I also think that China, India, Russia, and countries like that, when they go into trade with African countries, they can support the technology in African countries in return for like access to resources or trade or political support, but also they can still get political support as well, and like encourage each other and possibly say nice things about each other's countries and all that. But as I say, I'm probably going to try and make a few videos where I list some of my thoughts so I can just better plan them. And I've said before, in hindsight, it would have been better to possibly the other way around, because the list would help me to organize my thoughts, and I can make it more into like a story form or something like that, or just a general discussion. So I think it'd be awesome if because there could be Pan-Africanism, Pan-Asianism, and also cross-border cooperation, cross-continental cooperation between Africa and Asia, and Egypt, which is apparently partly in Asia and partly in Africa. And a lot of people think it's only in Africa or only in Asia, but apparently it's between the two. So it's a transcontinental country. So apparently there's quite a few transcontinental countries between Europe and Asia, which apparently used to be one continent. But between Asia and Africa, there's only one country, and that's Egypt, which is between both continents. So that could be like symbolically, Egypt could be a place where a lot of cooperation between the African and Asian countries in business and enterprise, whichever you prefer to call it, and politics, and general investment and technology and things like that, or where Asian nations teach or train up Africans in technology. That could be like Egypt could like facilitate a lot of those things and hopefully take a lot of the benefit as well. Like it would be a good deal for Egypt as well as the rest of Africa and Asia as well. But yeah, I'd love to see them like work together in politics, trade, investment, training, de-radicalization, cybersecurity, as I say, especially in Africa, like the technological stuff, and working together on many projects and businesses and things like that, where they could help each other. And I'd love to hear what other people think about that network and like what other people think generally about people of color, like even if people of color live in like in the West, like in Europe or America, the Americas, or even Australasia, which is supposed to be in the West, where it's actually geographically it's in the East, but I assume geography is not my strength, but I imagine so. But anyway, like if we could lobby to give our taxes to those countries and make YouTube videos like about African tech, and also how we can fundraise to support African tech and also support Asia in terms of maths and things like that, and also perhaps look at who are the biggest as people of color, who are the biggest mentors or role models, potentially, especially maybe encouraging mentors, but also who are the biggest role models we can think of. But part of me is a bit pessimistic in thinking that Asian and Asian countries, it's very unlikely that they'd unite together, and also same with African countries. But I suppose that it's worth giving it a shot. But also, a part of me can't imagine like people of color, like Asian people, being proud of achievements of African or Black people around the world, or vice versa. But perhaps putting the idea out can make people think, because the far right hate, or the white supremacists and the far right and all that hate all people of color. Or that's why I class it as a white supremacist or a far right person is not necessarily someone who's just conservative, but someone who hates all people of color, like including mixed race people like myself. Like I jokingly call us mutts or whatever. But I say that obviously affectionately, but I think mixed race people, like I've seen like on white supremacist or far right sites, they've said, I used to read some of their stuff, but nowadays I avoid it because I think that if I read it or watch it, that I'm giving them views, or so that helps them financially. Like, but they make their own websites and they say that mixed race people are more like our person of color side, or like more like our Asian or Black side. So for that reason, I think like people like Eurasians like myself, I think we should support Asia more, perhaps, and maybe Indigenous Americans more, and like people who are part Black could potentially support Africa and Indigenous people from Australasia more. I hope that makes some. I hope this makes some sense. I know I think in a quirky way, but yeah, I think that I know it's a quirky idea, I have to say, but for people who are part Eurasian, people who are part Asian, like Eurasian, could support Asia and Indigenous Americans more, as I say, and people who are part Black could support Africa and Australasia more. And people who are like Blasian, part Black and Asian, could support both. And like look at how we can give more of a taxes to those groups. That could be like overseas. The aid budget could be like people of color giving money back to our ancestral homelands, which I think would, in my opinion, would be good. I know that's not going to be something that everyone agrees with, but I'd love to hear what people of color, especially. I'd love to hear what people of color are on about. I'd love to hear what people of color think of these ideas, especially, or people just generally, but especially people of color. John Bobbitt asked, what did I do today? Well, just went to the library, wrote some ideas about this sort of thing, wrote up some lists, complained about slow computers to myself, and not much really, to be honest. Dreamed about making some videos. John Bobbitt also asked, what are you on about today? I don't think I want to go back all the way to the start, but did I shower? He asked, did I shower? Well, I don't know if he's trying to say I'm unkept or something, but not yet. That's the answer to that one. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting distracted here. But yeah, I'd love to support people of color networking together, especially, and in particular, indigenous people, from, as I say, Africa, Australasia, the Americas, and Asia. Yeah, so they can network together, share each other's dreams, share each other's goals, and just generally support each other. Sorry if I'm waffling. I'll just answer to John Bobbitt's question. He said, do you think that people of color or indigenous people should do housework? I suppose that's up to them, really. It's none of my business. I think what I'd love to see them do is network together and support each other, and just do their best to help each other to achieve their dreams. I'm getting a bit sidetracked here, but just another question from John Bobbitt. Is it okay to live in a dirty house? Probably depends how dirty the house is, really, but it probably depends. Not too dirty, but I'm not the most hygienic. But anyway, sorry, I'm really diverting. Do you have any questions about this? Do you have any questions about the specific topic about these 4 groups? Sorry, people watching will probably wonder what's going on here, but I'm just answering. The topic is indigenous people from these 4 continents or areas working together. Australasia, Aborigines, Maoris, and people like that, and people from Africa, the Americas, and Asia. Conscious, I don't want the video to go too long, so I'm just trying to record till I finish my tea. So, because I'm conscious it's 20 minutes long, so I hope someone out there won't find this. I hope someone out there will find this video informative or interesting. Probably should have kept it. Probably should have kept it a bit shorter, but anyway, sorry if I'm waffling. I hope someone out there enjoyed this video. Love to hear your thoughts or questions or anything in the feedback. Hopefully I wasn't too mad, but I'm just going to answer to another question John Bobbitt asked. Why are you so concerned? Well, the reason why I think people of color, especially from those groups I talked about, should work together, network together, but people of color generally, is I think like white supremacists and the far right against us all. So I think that should make us want to support each other more. And also I think that like we have shared history of colonization, and as an anti-imperialist, I'd love to see African nations work together. Mixed race. Sorry if anyone just, I'm just answering John Bobbitt. I said, aren't you white? I said, so I'm answering. So yeah, if I make another live stream, please feel free to ask me any questions, preferably on topic. What makes you ask that, John? I don't feel very comfortable about answering John Bobbitt's questions because I think they're a bit off topic. But I didn't want to ignore. I don't like to ignore. I don't like to ignore people asking questions. I'm a bit conscious about this video going too long. But yeah, sorry if I've been waffling. And as I say, I hope someone out there got something from this video, and if it makes any money in the future, I'm planning for the future, but if I get enough views, and hopefully it's not too boring, hopefully someone out there find it interesting, then I will donate the profits. I'll donate the profits to as I say, what I call the four. But I will be probably maybe uploading some more videos later. So I lost my train of thought. I'm just like being distracted by John Bobbitt's questions. So yeah, the point of the video is to look at how these how people of color can how people of color can network together, or trying to encourage people of color to network together. And I didn't really look at many of the methods of how people of color can network together. And if you can share this video as well with any people of color that you know, or any channels. Like another idea I have is like people of color networking together on YouTube, supporting each other's channels and general projects, as well as especially people from the four, as I keep calling them, as I try and refer to them as being. Sorry if I made this video incredibly long, as I was trying to record till I finished my tea, but which I'll probably waffle on. and you can probably hear fireworks in the background. I think people of color. I think it would be great if we could just like sort of support people of color. People of color supporting each other by subscribing to each other's channels, networking with each other, sharing ideas. I don't really have a huge amount of ideas for how to do that, other than just like subscribe to each other's channels, probably reach out to each other, offer each other advice. People are successful from people of color who are successful, perhaps mentoring others, looking at how we can politically support each other and lobby together. But I'd love to hear any other people's ideas, suggestions, and so forth about how people of color can network together. I'm sure, like some groups, like the Jewish community, like that, when they network together and then help each other and empower each other, so things like that. I'm sure there's lots to be learned from those groups. So I lost my train of thought again. I'm probably waffling a lot, but yeah. So I think like we learn how to lobby and just generally support each other in any way we can, or any ideas we have. I really messed up with this video, I think, because I've made it go on to nearly 27 minutes long. So I hope it's not going to be boring or too long. I know I try and keep them a bit shorter, but yeah, please, if I dare ask, please share your opinions about this video, about this topic, or about whether, like, even if you whether you agree or disagree, and perhaps reasons for each. Reasons respectively, whether you agree or disagree, and as I say, any ideas you have for how people of color or people from those 4 regions I talked about, the 4 as I call them, how they can help each other or network together. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section, preferably on topic. I'll try and make my videos a bit shorter in the future. So I think that there might be. I've got a sneaking suspicion that John Bobbitt is my friend Ranjiv in disguise, because some of the things he comes up with are very similar to what Ranjiv said. So I won't say his surname just in case he doesn't want me to mention, but there's lots of Ranjivs, so hopefully he won't mind. Yeah, as I say, I'd love to hear people I'd love to hear what people think about like a black lobby group or an Asian lobby group, or if black and Asian people or non-white Anglo-Saxon, because like in the past, Anglo-Saxon Protestants or WASP, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, used to like run everything. But I'd say white Anglo-Saxon Protestants used to like dominate America, or probably some would say still do kind of dominate American politics. So I think that maybe people are non-white Anglo-Saxon Protestant could network together. I myself, I'd love to support Malaysia, India, Indonesia, Singapore, all over Asia and Africa, and places like that. But anyway, this has been half an hour long, so I'm going to leave this video and hope someone out there would like it. Please support my channel any way you can. Peace and love, guys.